Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floors with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
And I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
And this is part 2 of our 4 contractors and 4 questions. And today I'm excited to have Sean James from Santa Cruz, California. Sean, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, I'm Sean James out of Santa Cruz, California with SJ Hardwood Floors. Flooring contractor, specializing in sand and finish, repair, some custom install when I can get it. Trying to steer away from the mass install work and just focus on quality.
You're an interesting guy to me, Sean, and it's about damn time we had you on this podcast. I kind of like your style a little bit, man. First of all, I know that you're a damn good craftsman. I know that's important to you, and I see you, the work you do on social media, and we've talked many times. And so I know you're in a punk rock band, right?
Yep, band called The Guts.
Spell that.
G-U-T-Z. G-U-T-Z.
All right, and are you on YouTube, or where can anybody see your work?
YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music.
And you're a drummer?
And we're on the socials. Yep.
All right, so the guy is in a punk rock band. He's a drummer. I mean, that takes a hell of a lot of discipline. More than I think most people realize, man. I've listened to your music, and I liked it a lot, I have to say, man. It's pretty cool. So we're going to do this 4 questions, 4 different contractors. We're going to go kind of quick, so I want to get as much information as I can about you. So, Rob, why don't you fire away with the first question?
All right, you all set?
Sounds good.
All right. What makes you really good at your craft?
And before you respond, sorry to cut you off. Don't be humble, man. I know you're good, and we're truly interested in what makes somebody good at their craft. So I know you're a humble guy, so don't hold back on me.
I mean, for me, it's all just, passion for what you do, caring about the job from no matter what it is, and just patience. I mean, for me, I care about from, where the material comes from, the forest, and then where it ends up and the final end user. I care about quality, number one, and that's what I try to deliver every time.
And what is your clientele in Santa Cruz, California? I mean, is there a house that's under $1 million in that area?
Well, not now. You can look at a shack and it's going for close to $1 million, and it's pretty rough. The market's pretty exploded. But your average home, your 1 bedroom, 1 bath, you're probably looking at $700,000.
I actually think, Sean, that adds another dimension mentally to the challenge of the job and the stress of the job. Because, I've said this before, that, now everybody thinks that one bedroom, 1 bath house is the Taj Mahal. You know what I mean? You put $700,000 into it. That's a lot of pressure that goes into them jobs, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, no matter what the job is, I'm going to treat a 100 square footer like a 2,000 square footer. Everything gets the same amount of detail.
Yeah. What's the name of your company, Sean?
It's just my initials, SJ Hardwood Floors.
Yep. And so question number 2, biggest challenge in the future for floormen?
Well, looking at where we're at now, material, that's more and more, we're going to have to be worrying about that. Just as things become readily available, they're going to be coming off the market faster than you can see. Cost is going to go up, and it's going to stay up for a while. And then, labor, trying to find people to train. Because even before the pandemic, it was rough enough. And now I've been seeing from my friends that own restaurants and bars, trying to get people to come back to work or get new people to work even more. it's rough because people have figured out, hey, I can live off of bare minimum, and that's fine with me. I could work 20 hours a week and still pay my rent and barely live and be fine with it, as opposed to wanting to save and grow and, invest in something. People just want to do the bare minimum.
So
that's going to be a struggle.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Well, hang on.
Wait, no, let me ask him one.
Okay.
Let me ask him. It's my turn. Go get a drink of water or something.
Okay.
Talker you are. Hey, what gets you more chicks? Being a great floor man or a drummer?
I'm a drummer. I'm not really going to get any chicks, man. I'm lucky enough I got my wife. Plus I'm a redhead, so it doesn't really. Everything's working against me.
I was going to say the same thing, man.
Oh, yeah. You get the Highlander ginger, curse. He's a fellow redhead. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you could pull it off, drummer in a punk band, right? I mean, that
was a good move, man. Yeah. You got a shot.
There you
got
go.
A story.
I've gotten some free cocktails,
That's it.
But hey, since you're a musician, I want to ask you the same thing. And I mean a serious musician. You guys are good, man. You're a talented band. And I feel, the pandemic hurts a lot of industries. And I think musicians, man, as bad as anybody. So, people think of the big touring concert bands and everything, but even local guys and regional guys, man, with the pandemic, especially in California, as much as everything been shut down, I imagine that's changed for you guys a lot, huh?
Oh, drastically. I mean, we're, everything's starting to slowly open up here and there, and we're talking about booking shows. And the sad reality is a lot of the smaller venues have had to shut down and lock up, where they won't come back. Unfortunately, that's just a sad truth across the nation. And if anybody can donate to Save Our Stages, that would dramatically help a lot of these venues.
Is that a website? Is that a website for the Save Our Stages?
I believe it's a website. You could Google it, Save Our Stages. But that's one thing, smaller venues, it's hard for them to bounce back, especially in these times where a lot of them didn't get relief.
Yeah.
Financially, so.
Is that?
And I know a lot of people are hungry to see music come back.
Oh man, and I'm one of them.
Gosh, yeah.
I can't wait to see live music again. Is being a drummer in a punk rock band? I would imagine that is a hell of a stress reliever from doing floors, man. The stress of running a business.
Yeah, you'd figure it'd be hard to go and play for a couple hours of practice, a couple nights a week, and then play a couple shows on the weekend after beating your body up on doing floors all week. But you just find the energy, and it's a hell of a lot of fun.
Nice. All right.
What's the best advice you could give for somebody breaking into the business?
This is question number 3 for you.
Become a sponge. Keep your eyes open, listen, just observe, because vast majority of what our trade is and the trades is confidence, common sense, and then you pick up the skill and knowledge as you go, and as well as techniques. And then if you have time after work, read up, educate yourself on that task that day or what's coming in the future. I mean, with the NWFA, with YouTube and all the other educational platforms out there, you can learn a whole hell of a lot, where when I started out, there was next to nothing. You really had to search and search.
That's what I like about you, man, because you're like a role model to me and all the rest of the gingers out there. I mean, you're in a freaking drummer in a punk rock band, man, with tats and everything. But you're a serious guy, man. You're a thinker, Sean. I mean, I got a lot of respect for you, man, because I know I see how much you care about your jobs and your customers and stuff. And I see you on social media, and I'm impressed, man. Just from one guy to another, I've always been impressed with you, and I've been wanting to get you on the podcast for a long time because I do have a lot of respect for you, man. I think you're pretty kick-ass at your job. I love that your 3/4 of your pictures have your old dog Taco in there. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but I also think that's pretty cool, man. How old is your dog?
He is 9 years old.
Yeah, I see you getting white around the nozzle, the muzzle, just like the rest of us. So, tell us something about yourself that would surprise people.
Well, most people don't know, but Wayne is my father.
True. I didn't know you were going to break it out on this.
I knew there was something going on there. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, definitely.
For the longest time, I've been playing music forever, and also before I started in the trades, and I used to average 120 shows a year in one band, and we would do some drives, like 8 to 10 hour drives on Sunday night, and I'd be back at work at 7 in the morning. So I did that for a very long time. It's so basically burning the candle at both ends.
What was the biggest venue you played? Biggest show?
Probably 500 something people. Yeah, about 5 to 8 cap.
It's a big show.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other shows, it's hard to say. There's alcohol involved.
So would we still be able to hang out and at night and listen to Johnny Cash?
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I saw your top 10 albums, man. I saw you throw in Folsom Prison Blues. Oh,
it's a fantastic album.
Yeah. Who were maybe some of your role models that you looked up to in the industry as you started along in the trade?
Well, and there's definitely Lenny Hall.
Yeah.
And Jason Elquist.
Yep.
Those two were amazing.
I put them on my list as well.
I live in such a small area. It's so hard to really. The majority of influence and things like that has all kind of come through social media and peers, and we're all always bouncing stuff off each other. I mean, Young Brothers, Select, those guys are all fantastic and great dudes to talk to.
I really like that about you. I'm almost jealous in a way, man, because your generation, the generation coming up now, you have that, man. You can reach across and talk to a dude in Colorado or someone down in Florida, you know what I mean? And it's readily available, and you get to share your pictures and your work, man. And it's like, it makes you want to put out something cool, man. And it doesn't have to be a fabulous job. I mean, just a job sanded right, man. That, you know what I mean? That you get to share.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty cool, man, that you guys do that.
What do you think the turning point in your career was?
When I became an NWFA certified member, and then moving on from there, and then starting to go to Bona trainings. I went to my first Bona training up in Kent, Washington, 7 or 8 years ago, maybe longer. But yeah, I had to fly to go to a training then, and now they're readily available in the area. But yeah, it was fantastic. I got to meet a lot of cool people, pick up on some other techniques. I met the infamous Eric Peterson and also Zach Clavin.
Yep. I did
great people.
Yeah. Seattle's a cool place anyhow to go and hang out. I don't know if you guys played any shows up in that area, but I love Seattle. A nice night like that.
We were up there right before the pandemic on tour. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. We all have tough days in this trade. And days that, like, man, just, you get beat up, your body gets beat up, and maybe things don't go your way. When you have days like that, Sean, man, how do you power through those?
Well, the important part at the end of the day is to leave it on the job. I mean, you get those annoying customers that try and call or text you late in the evening, 10 o'clock, oh, I've got an issue with my floor, blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of have to tell them, look, it's an inanimate object. Leave it be. If your house is on fire or, there's a flood, you're calling the wrong guy. You got to call somebody that can actually take care of that.
Mm-hmm.
End of the day, it's rough to leave it all behind you and deal with it the next day, but you got to try.
It's a bag of bricks, man. Set it down and walk away.
Yeah, I mean, we all wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m. with those worries of what we got to get done the next day, or it sucks, but you got to find a way to leave it there.
You also talk about you flew up to Seattle to go to that school up there, and you've gone to a bunch of NWFA schools, and you're doing this on your own dime, right? I mean, you own your own business, you're an entrepreneur. So why? What are you getting out of it, Sean, and what compels you to do that?
Education, develop, skills and techniques. Mm-hmm. Because, it all, it started out for you guys, 3680 poly, good to go. Where, the stuff we're able to produce now with the machines available and the products available, you're able to get a piece of furniture, a giant piece of furniture for somebody.
Yep. Absolutely.
And
we used to say
it's amazing.
In the old days, they'd say, it's not a piece of furniture. You can't expect it to be blah, blah, blah.
Not a piano.
Not anymore, man. These guys are putting out some phenomenal tabletop type finishes, man.
And with the introduction of European oils, craft oil especially, and what you're able to do, you're able to give somebody a floor that's going to age like a pair of boots or really nice leather belts or something, where it's just the patina is just going to keep getting richer and richer, where you might not even have to sand that floor.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Are you a first generation floor man, and how did you get into the trade?
Yes, I am. I started out in the trades, foundation to finish in my early 20s. And then the recession hit, and I had to scramble to find someone to work with because I got laid off. And then I ended up finding a flooring contractor here in Santa Cruz to work with, Andy Orgain. And from there, I was just hooked. It was extremely hard work in the beginning, but using those old machines, the old American 12 and Clark Edgers, and then just kind of researching and finding other tools and looking into the ergonomics of things. Major things that help are stretching every morning, staying hydrated, that kind of stuff. Icing at the end of the day if you can. Yeah.
I think that's Sean, man, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for being on the podcast with us. We're really glad to have you on again. Follow you on social media, man, and I see the kind of work you do, man, and I got a lot of respect for that. So thanks again, and thanks for making the time.
Well, thank you guys.
All right.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
So we go from California, Santa Cruz, California, to the West Coast, all the way down to Tampa, Florida, on the East Coast. Our guest with us today now is Corey Cathcart. He's president of Integrity Floors in Tampa, Florida. Corey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Get to enjoy the beautiful west coast of Florida. Most of our projects are on the beach or real close, so we get beautiful views. Humidity is always a challenge as far as wood floors go, but been in wood floors since 1995. Have a great crew, mixture of sand and finish crews and installers, all full-time employees, full-time bonus certified craftsmen. So honored to be in this profession, something that I love, and appreciate the fact that I get to do something that I do love.
Before we get to the 4 questions, I know you, looking at your website, you work with a lot of renewable and sustainable materials is a big part of your company's heritage, I guess. And maybe talk in the protecting the forest for tomorrow. I mean, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. We try to work with domestic mills whenever we can. We try to consider, the best way to produce a floor that's going to last lifetimes. How it's processed, where it's processed, the value that it's going to add to a home or a building, and try and find ways outside of the mainstream than putting logs on a boat to end up halfway across the world only to be turned around and processed very inefficiently and then sent back across.
Oh, I like your style. And I see that you do work on contemporary urban floors to preserving 19th century ballrooms, and you guys take a lot of pride in your work, and your portfolio is pretty impressive, man.
Thank you very much coming from you. I certainly have honored your work, and I appreciate that, and we feel lucky to work where we've worked. And Tampa's not a very old city, but parts of it we've been able to work on between the University of Tampa, which was parts of it were built in the late 1800s. So those are those ballrooms that we were able to work on, restore those with parts of architects from a Florida land grant that helped to restore what was originally a hotel that is now the flagship of University of Tampa.
You said that, I got to ask you this, man, before we get into the 4 questions. You just brought up something that when I think of Florida, I think of the one killer thing that if you're a floor man, it has got to be first and foremost up in the list of challenges, and that's humidity. Acclimating we want to talk about that. I mean, we lived I lived in California doing floors, and that was never really an issue for us for the most part, nowhere near to the extremes that you guys have. How do you deal with that?
Right. We start in our warehouse. We have an air-conditioned warehouse where the majority of our floors start in, mainly because, especially new construction, keeping trades to close the doors and truly acclimate. You can deliver it, but it could literally stay there for 6 months and never achieve the condition that somebody's going to live in. So we try to start in the warehouse as early as possible, whether it be stock material or special order or a special order floor. It starts there, and then at the right time, new technologies like data loggers and fit boxes really help us out just to establish those swings and show them to people. And then seasonally, we just have cupping sometimes if it's a solid floor. Sometimes no matter what you do, the wood's going to win and do whatever the hell it wants, and just got to take time to prepare them.
So that's interesting. So your process really starts from the warehouse, right? The wood goes to your warehouse, and that's part of that's where it starts. That's very interesting to me.
Otherwise, it's just a losing battle.
Yeah. And is it mostly glue downs there, glue nail assist, or are you engineered floors down there, or what's your makeup?
Majority glue down. Most of ours are on slab. And the wider planks. There are some builders that do design their floors with subfloors nailed. So 3/4 inch CDX nailed to concrete, and then glue and nail assist depending on the format of the floor. But you're right, 80% of our floors are glued directly to concrete.
Okay. When you are
How long
nailing
have you lived in Tampa?
What's that?
How long have you lived in Tampa?
All of my life. I did spend some time out west, but I was born and raised in the Tampa Bay area. Went out west, spent some time in Seattle and Wyoming, and then returned back home in 2000.
So Tampa just about all your life?
Yeah, that's what I know.
Now, I'm a New England Patriot fan.
Sorry to hear that.
You missing something?
Oh my God! How was it this year down there? My brother lives in Tampa, the Tampa area. How was it?
Yeah, it's been great. I tell you, it's between the Lightning and then the Bucks and hometown.
You guys have turned into Titletown. Stanley Cup.
Almost. The Rays are one game away.
Jeez, man, crazy. Yeah. But What Tom Brady did with you guys, oh my God, that was
phenomenal.
What a season that was
really
for you
shows
guys.
what leadership can do. Absolutely.
All right. 4 questions. Now that we've already asked you 5.
Sure.
Rob, you want to shoot it out there, the first question?
Oh, thank you, Wayne. Yes, I'd love to. What makes you really good at your craft?
The team around me. I have been very lucky to find very loyal, passionate people that.
You see, this is a Tom Brady fan. What does he say? You got to love it, man. Awesome answer. That is fantastic.
So we keep each other going, and all of us know as foremen what it takes. And physical these days has been far more mental than I can remember in the past. But we are lucky to be very busy. It's a great time in Tampa, great time in America to recover from what we came from. And again, I am truly blessed to do something that I love and would last forever, right? If nothing catastrophic happened or somebody doesn't do the wrong thing, wood, that's part of the beauty. It only gets more beautiful. Every other floor gets uglier on the second day. And wood just gets prettier and prettier.
Well, I'm going to take them. Thank you. I'm going to take that and use it in my schools.
That's
Thank
actually
you very much.
That's very well said right there, man. And that should be on somebody's advertising. That's really, I like that.
That is perfect.
So this is supposed to be 4 questions, and damn it, I just want to. It's going to be more than that because anytime you talk to another floor guy, he just brings up so many other questions. How did you get into this trade? And are you a first-generation floor guy?
I am a first-generation floor guy. I was living out west. I came home to visit my family, and my aunt was getting floors installed in her home. At the time, wood floors were not very common in Florida. It was 1995. And the guy who was halfway through her house, she was getting installed in her entire house. He was halfway through. His helper quit. So she called me and said, "You're on vacation. My house is tore up, and this poor guy has no help. So you need to come over here, help your aunt out." So I went over. I was in the concrete trade at the time and thought, this is a hell of a lot better than stacking forms and flattening slabs, and had an understanding of concrete. So that kind of helped see the highs and lows. And then really never left. I went back to Seattle where I was living and found a great floor company out there to learn from, and then just never got out of it. So I think the sawdust got I'd always liked wood, but wasn't a finished carpenter, didn't have the patience, and this allowed me to work with wood but not have to be as finicky as a trim carpenter.
So question number 2 in our official questions. Biggest challenges for floormen today in the trade?
This week feels like material supply. It has been labor for a long time, but we've just tried to be patient and grow when the right people come along. So I would say the challenge is just time, taking the time to do it right, not getting swept up in the moment of, it's got to be done so we can move in on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And the guys are still painting the walls above you. Yeah.
And how do you do that when you're faced with that kind of pressure, when everybody wants it done right now, and everybody's the contractor, the general, he's got his schedule, the homeowners have their schedule. The right way to do it, as you said. You start with the wood in the warehouse, acclimating it. That the wood also has a schedule and it doesn't care about us. So how do you manage those conversations?
We have a strict timeline that we stick to, and if it goes too far outside of that, we either have to pull off the job, which is not easy and not friendly to do. We have had to do it. But we really just start managing expectations from the beginning, and we stake out our ground, and majority of our business is repeat contractors and homeowners, so they know how we operate. And we just stick to those commandments that keep us, we remind the people, this is why you called us. You hire us not for what we do, but for what we know. And if we're not able to do that, then we're just going to be like everybody else that they passed up on.
That is a really good point, man. I mean, that is also a really, really good point, is that you hired us for what we know. I mean, that's why you hired us, because we do things the right way and everything. And if you're asking us to do anything counter to that, that's not our culture, and I think it's smart to have those conversations open like that. So yeah, I like your style.
Yeah, we all got that call, right? I just need a quick job. We don't know how to do a quick job. There's no such thing as a quick job. Hey, what's the best advice you can give to somebody who's breaking into the business?
Stick with it. It's a hell of a ride. You will love it. You will hate it. You'll never get away from it. I think it allows respect and creativity, and it's up to you. It's an open field. Somebody hands you the bat, don't give it back. Just keep it. And if it's not what you love, don't do it, because it will bust you and break you down. But if you love it, there's no better place in the world to be.
Yeah, I could not agree more, man. And I think really, gosh, sometimes I want to take young kids today that are starting out and shake them, man. And the opportunities now in this trade are amazing, man. There is, I don't care what happens as far as other floor coverings or whatever, there is always going to be a place for a guy that is a damn good sand and finish guy, a guy that knows how to install.
Technology.
Yep.
Look at the technology. Just in my time in the trade, waterborne was just coming on, and that was phenomenal when I just started. But man, the dustless, Festool, sandpaper, I mean, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
In just the time that I've been here. So
yeah.
I really encourage them, and you can that stuff makes you look good. Like, there's a whole different all these orbital sanders and just the satellites, everything. It's just come so far to help you in your trade. It's really fine-tuned what was a fine finish trade, but it was rough to get there. I mean, it was years on the edge before I even was hoping somebody keep a rug over some of my work,
Yeah. That's the truth, man. I mean,
you couldn't do any different. I mean, sometimes you just couldn't get it.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough wood left.
I've said, many times back in the day, all we had against the whole world, didn't matter what the layout was, didn't matter anything. We had the buffer, the big machine, and the edger to make that. And you had to be a stud on all three of those, man. And now with the planetary type machines that are out there right now, the game's changed, man.
I had I did a class this week in Atlanta, and had two guys from Romania that came to the class, and they were old school. Slot drums they came up on, so the whole deal. And when we showed them the power drive, when I showed them the power drive, I couldn't get it out of their hands. I mean, I literally could not get it out of their hands. And then we used natural seal on white oak. And I mean, these guys were rubbing it and feeling it and just losing it, thinking, we produced furniture. We've never seen a floor this smooth. I mean, they were just, and it took, the great part about the power drive and, some of these other sanders, it took me, 10 minutes to really show the guy how to operate it correctly. I mean, they had some sanding background, so they were, way ahead of the curve, but man, just the look in their eyes, it was just amazing. So, yeah, when you say the equipment and the change in the equipment, Wayne and I, Wayne, I meant to mention to you this before. We're the generation that went from drums to belts, from oil to water. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were around for the old days. We know how 40, 80 satin poly and bad lighting. That was our living.
Yeah. And just good intentions. The best sand guys that I've met that came before me, many of them were multi-generation. And so it was passed down secrets and families and, smack on the head. when you didn't do it right. But
no explanation. Just get over there and
go do it.
And to your point, Corey, I remember, working with my uncle years ago, and in San Francisco, there's a lot of hallways we called laid the wrong direction, where it could be, 45 feet long and by 30 inches going the wrong way. And it was all edger work. That's, you ran the edger on it. You may make a first pass with a big machine on light tension, but, and as good as my uncle was, and as good as these old really stud floor guys were, it was still, at the end of the day, you crossed your fingers and you felt like you edged it right. Back in those days, we hand sanded everything with 60 grit. And then you put that coat of semi-gloss on it, and you come back the next day. All you want to do is look down that hallway, and you'd study it from every angle. God help you if you see a little bit of a, something wasn't flat. Now, the equipment today, man, that's the same thing as chatter marks, man. That should be gone the way of the bubonic plague. The machines today are just so much better.
The paper's better. It's just the low VOCs, not walking out the front door and having your head go wah 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 wah. I'm just good. Also, young guys, I really hope they hang into it. Yeah, you're right.
I think the opportunity is there. I mean, but the recipe is hard work. There's no getting around it.
There's less competition.
Yep.
There's less people getting into it. I mean, it's an ideal field here. It is yours to claim because ain't many people jumping into it. So, and all people want is wood, and the health benefits of wood are only going to increase when compared to other products and get us out of this goddamn vinyl and everything else that they're coming up with.
That's what I dare you. I'll give you a bell for that one.
Yeah.
That GD vinyl.
Yeah. Just terrible, man. Keep it, our floors don't, if they do end up in the landfill, all they're going to do is decompose.
Yeah.
Come back as worm poop, So a vinyl is going to be here 500 years if we're lucky.
That message comes across, I thought, loud and clear on your website too. I think you do a good job of getting that message out about yourself. So, all right.
We do love wood.
Question number 4. Tell us something about yourself that would surprise people.
I have 6 grandkids, and I'm 50 years old.
Are you kidding?
Nice.
So,
boy.
Blessed on both sides.
Go.
Nice, man.
Great business and great family. So,
how old are they?
2 daughters. They are 8 to 2, and the 2-year-olds are twin boy and girl. So, and they rule the roost.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise in all that, man, is I had no idea you were 50. So you're doing something right, man.
Time flies.
Okay, so you're 50 years old now, and I imagine it's this trade beats your body up a little bit. Are you still feeling healthy? You can get out there and still do the work.
I'm lucky that I don't have to do it as much. I do get out there. I do try and spend my time at least one day a week between the crews, different crews, to still show them. Any new guy that happens to come along thinks I just ride around the truck all day. I got to show them something. But no, I feel it. I definitely, I run the power drive. I do not run the edger. So it definitely is to young men, put your time in and get to where you surround yourself by good people.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to, after a while, use your brain, not your knees. So yes. And just to wind back to a couple of questions ago, as far as young guys go, this whole industry is about people that want to share knowledge and keep you out of trouble. And I don't know of any other trade, that cares that much about protecting our craft and protecting people and making sure that our standards are upheld and exceeded. And so I've always appreciated that. We were doing an end grain floor last year, our first one, 5,000 square foot in a hotel. did not have the right time to do it because of scheduling. So we were hammering it with everything we had. And between Brett Miller and Wayne Lee and FaceTime, we finally figured out the right situation. And these end grains were two sizes, 2.5 by 4.5 and 3 inches by 5 inches in a brick lay pattern.
Wow.
And it went on 55,000 pieces. And to cut that thing flat, glued down to a slab. It was wild. Hard plate city, finally, in the end.
Wow.
But, being able to call Darren at Bona and get his advice on sealers, because it was a Doug fir block, and unfortunately they stained it ebony.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. And talk about some stain dropping to the bottom and coming back to the top.
Coming back up, yeah. All them vessels are straight up.
So instead of freaking out, we had people to call.
Yep. It's universal. We've had 4 guests on, and everybody said the same thing, man. I mean, if someone was to call you, Corey, out of the blue, that a younger guy that had a problem on a job, would you have a problem talking to the guy and sharing your knowledge with him?
Absolutely, would be honored. And we've shipped people tools, we've shared any secret, and that it comes back. It's not even just bragging rights. It's just to make sure that we're represented across the world as the trade that we are.
I can't tell how impressed I am about that, and that everybody said the same thing, and we all feel the same way, and it's universal, and it just tells you how the quality of the character of the people in this trade and how much they care about it, like you said, man, and they want this trade to go on, and the craftsmanship to be there. And I don't know another industry that's like that, man, that would do that would be so willing to help somebody, and that someone would think, oh, he's a competitor. Let me ask you this: do you ever worry about your competitors?
No, we talk all the time.
Yeah,
we keep each other in line, and that was one thing. The first guy that I worked for out in Seattle said, "This is a race to the top, not a race to the bottom." Mm-hmm. And
beautiful. That's an awesome piece of advice. Yeah. Awesome piece of advice.
If anyone's sanding floors for $2 a foot out there, stop it.
Yeah. for heaven's sakes, man, do yourself the favor.
Yeah.
It's too freaking hard.
We don't have to get fat, everybody's fair, but you do it good. There's value to it. You got to, the return on investment is because it lasts forever, and our work is there to show it. So if you put in the extra effort, you'll get the extra nickels.
Now, the first time I seen that I don't want to say this. The first time I seen that kind of camaraderie on that level was when I was in Pittsburgh with the contractors there. And about 6 or 7 different contractors go out to dinner all the time. They're competitors. One guy had a problem on a job, and he knows he can call the other guy. And I love that, man. I came away with such a good feeling about that, man, because I think it is so important, man. As long as I respect the guy, if he's a competitor of mine, you need something, man, I got it. As a matter of fact, I don't have any tools right now because I've given everything I have away. I never sold anything. I've given away my big machines, my vacuums. I've given away my edgers and everything. You see a guy that needs something, man. You just feel like because we've all been there, Corey, right? We know the struggles and how hard it is, and if you get ahead a little bit, man, you want to help the next guy. So very cool.
Carpeting and LVP, that's our competition, not each other.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That is it.
Rob, is there another question you'd like to ask Corey?
Hey, what was the turning point in your career?
2008. I think 2010, somewhere like that. Just back to the bottom again, and nothing happening, and but then it just somehow, I don't know, time flies and you get through it. And we did a little carpet for a little while when they were foreclosing homes and stuff. But outside of that, we've only ever done wood floors and specialized in it. But but I think just being more involved in Bona Certified Craftsman, getting started in that, and really committed to a standard and a commandments and friendships that have, gone from Canada to California to Pittsburgh, you name it. I mean, so I think that's a big turning point, was just really getting involved in NWFA and education and educating my guys and their bragging rights with certifications and badges and trips, and
Nice.
carried us through the last, it's been good for probably the last 6 or 7 years have been really good mixture of work and quality. I think has stepped up a lot because of technologies.
Looking back over your career, would you change anything? If you start from the beginning and looking at your overall, the span of your career?
I wish I really remembered all the lessons I learned. It seems like it took me a long time to really learn them and remember them. But no, I think just trying not to get ahead of myself. Rushed it too much for a while, just afraid of the phone not ringing again, and then you kind of figure out your stride, and they're going to call you. If you do good work, people love to show off their homes, show off good work. They appreciate it. So,
yeah, the thing about this trade, man, is every lesson comes at such a hard price, right? I mean, the things that you learn along the way, they're hard lessons, man. I mean, the things that you do something on a job, you go, don't do that again, man. That didn't turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, man. I can't, every one of those lessons, every single one, man, they're hard fought lessons.
Usually sinks in after the third one.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it happens in threes for sure.
Yeah.
That fourth one.
So
tired of writing checks.
So owning a business is tough. I mean, do you have any help in that, or you're by yourself, or as far as running it, or how does that work?
My wife has great support. Lavette has been with me through this wild rodeo, and she sees me leave early in the morning and get home late at night, and patient and trusting, and knows that I'm doing what I love, and she knows most days I'm happy, so wouldn't want to do it without her, and I appreciate her just trusting that it's all going to work out somehow, and it does.
Very cool. Right on. Well, when I was talking to Graham Blue, our territory manager down in that area, your neck of woods, and I said I was just talking off the cuff with him. I said, we're going to do a podcast, and we're going to get 40 guys, and he goes, "Oh, look, you got to get Corey Cathcart on there," and I said, yeah,
cool.
okay. And he goes, no, dude, I'm serious. You need to get him on here. And I'm going to give you his information right now. I've known of you. Your name comes up, all the time, when we're talking to different territory managers across the country, man. So certainly you're very well respected in this industry, man. There's no question about that. So you to take the time to talk to us for a few minutes, especially we're recording this on a Friday night late, man. We really certainly appreciate it.
No, thank you. All you guys do, it comes both ways. It's great program to be a part of, and again, back to the testament of our industry for a company like Bona to spend so much attention and investment in us, and not just your products, but, for a little company like us to have access to, territory. Everybody's got a territory manager, but to be able to, call product development, and for you guys to send us stuff to test out, and for you guys to really hire from within our industry, and so it's highly appreciated. All my guys, Mike White, Dave Rochelle, have all been through the program. Darren, Benji, all those guys call Mike different times, and that's pretty cool to be standing on the floor and get a call from Denver. Hey, what do you think of it? What happens when you roll this out? What happens in the humidity? What's the glue doing these days? Here's a new bucket at 851. What do you think? So it's cool to be a part of that development, and we greatly appreciate it down here.
Well, thank you, and believe me when I tell you, it's mutual. And this whole country, or this whole business is made up of small companies for the most part, man. And that's the backbone and blood of our industry. So
It is.
thank you very much, Corey. I'll let you go.
Hey, man, thank you.
And it's been a super pleasure for us, man, and an honor. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. All righty, man. Keep up
Right.
with the young guys. Let's keep pushing them.
Talk to you down the road.
Thanks. Talk
Take
to
it
y'all
easy.
soon. Thanks, man. Y'all have a good one. See ya.